Vandergelder. Social introductions, ladies and gentlemen of excellent family, introduced under the most respectable of circumstances. Object, matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning-fast service today, as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, if he's a millionaire, that means he's got at least 60,000 cash. But I will do my best to have you carried across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention I am available for short-distance hauling, financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin. And
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. If I'm good in 10 years, I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. 28 3/4 years old, and I still don't get evening free. When am I going to be able to live?
You can live on holidays, Cornelius.
Did you forget what we did last Christmas? All the canned tomatoes went rotten, and you and I had to clean them up all afternoon. Do you call that living?
Well, no.
Barnaby, you and I are going to New York.
You mean close the store?
Uh-huh.
Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
Holy cabooses! How do you know?
I'll light this candle underneath them. That's how I know. They make such a smell. Customers won't be able to come to the store for 24 hours. That'll get us the evening free. We're going to New York, Barnaby, and we're going to live. We're going to have a good meal. We're going to be in danger. We're going to spend our money, and we're going to be arrested.
Holy cabooses!
And one more thing, Barnaby. We're not coming back to Yonkers till we've kissed a girl.
You can't do that, Cornelius.
Oh, dear, oh my, would you look at that, 10 o'clock and the shop not open yet? It's all because of that impending marriage, I tell you. What marriage? Oh, I thought you knew. Why, the marriage Miss Levi is arranging between Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known Yonkers half-a-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Malloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Malloy. May he rest in peace, wherever he is. I'm not sure. He was a caution, you know. Well, it's all too much with late husbands and new marriages, and on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the third time. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers, to catch a beau, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. I told her ribbons down our backs is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye, but she'd have none of it. She just wants more cherries and feathers, and on today of all days when that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind, what with the...
With what, Minnie?
With the door. It's stuck.
Oh, it's stuck. Well, push! Oh, whoa.
Well, as I was saying, Mrs. Malloy, I could bite out my tongue for the things I've said and the things I'm going to say, but as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why...
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandergelder?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. I would rather die on the rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I am marrying Horace Vandergelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get away from the millinery business. I hate hats.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Mrs. Malloy?
Don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into restaurants or balls or theaters. That's all the proof they need. You take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder or I break out of this place like a fire engine.
Big and tan with mean little red eyes?
Yes?
It's sitting right on that bench.
Excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Yes, ma'am, Yonkers, and forgive me for saying, but you should see Yonkers. By that I mean perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers too.
I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are! Barnaby, she's a widow! Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. I mean, on you, of course, not Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Miss Malloy, if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I'd be more than willing to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I may be there sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know him.
Perhaps we do.
Oh, it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Horace Vandergelder?
Of Vandergelder's Hay and Feet?
Do you know him?
No.
Mr. Vandergelder's a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
A lovely man. Just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think.
Now, I wonder if your friend might like this one?
Look out!
Beg your pardon, Miss Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Miss Malloy. We'll explain later.
Come out of there this minute!
We're as innocent as can be, Miss Malloy.
Well, really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist you come out of there this instant, or I'll be forced to... Mr. Vandergelder?
Mrs. Malloy, I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just go looking for me. When I make an appointment with someone, I expect them to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. The expensive kind.
Baiters, line up! Faster! And it is my order, as head waiter of Harmonia Gardens, and your supreme commander, that tonight, of all nights, our usual lightning-fast service be twice as lightning as ever, or else... Get to it!
Hello, Harry. Well, hello, Louis. It's so nice to be back home where I belong. You're looking swell, and I can tell. Nanny, you're still glowing, you're still growing, you are still going strong. I feel the room sway, for the bells play one of my old favorite songs from way back when. So bridge that gap, fellas, find me an empty lap. Oh, fellas, Dolly will never go away again.
Dolly always felt that money, pardon the expression, was like manure. It was worthless unless it spread around, encouraging young things to grow.
Thank you,
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you here where you belong. I never knew, Dolly, without you, Dolly, life was awfully flat, and more than that was awfully wrong.